Hey, viewers and listeners, it's Ed Fox with Nashville2. And so what is Nashville2? And for those of you that maybe haven't seen our show before, Nashville2 is about telling those stories of you and me and Hunter here. Hunter's my guest today. We'll get to that in a minute. But if you have a story to tell, let's tell your story. You're Nashville2. Reach out to us through our Facebook page, Nashville2.com. We'll go straight to the Facebook page. And you can schedule a call with me and we'll get you on the show. We'd love to hear your story. Whether you're mentoring kids after school, whether you're a small business owner, whether you're a big business owner, if you've got a story to tell, we want to hear it. And there's always cool things that different people know about Nashville. I've been in Nashville now for just over a year. And what I found is that everybody has their favorite places, and some of them I'd never heard of. So that's one of the things that led me to do this show. So Hunter, with that lead in, thanks for being on the show.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm glad you're here. Now you're a Tennessean, is that right? I mean, you're from Tennessee, just not the Nashville part originally, right?
That is correct. I am from Knoxville, Tennessee is where I grew up. So East Tennessee, close to the mountains.
Okay. Now, is there a rivalry between Knoxville and Nashville? I mean,
I would not exactly. There's a little bit of like a college football thing with Vanderbilt and UT, but not really. That's not a huge rivalry.
So I grew up in Sydney, Australia, and we have a huge rivalry with Melbourne, Australia, because Melbourne thinks they're better than all the rest of us. What do you call? You guys call them rednecks, right? They're like hillbillies, rednecks, that sort of stuff. So I grew up in the western suburbs of Sydney. So I was our term for a redneck is a bogan, B-O-G-A-N. So everybody from Melbourne thinks that Sydney siders are just bogans, that we're all rednecks, and the Melbourne people they're the cultured version. So that's our rivalry. Okay, so you start out born and raised in the Knoxville area.
Well, born in West Tennessee, but moved when I was very, very young, like 3 years old, to Knoxville, Tennessee. Grew up there, and then moved to Nashville about 16 years ago, Middle Tennessee. And yeah, been here ever since, man.
Okay, well, that is great. And so, which part of the Nashville metro do you live in right now, Hunter?
Yeah, I am closer to a little bit north of town. I'm in the Germantown area. Okay. I was previously down closer to the 8th South and 12th South area. But
that doesn't mean anything to me, but I'll learn.
Those that are familiar with a little bit of the Nashville kind of areas and neighborhoods, that's very trendy. The 8th South and 12th South areas are very up and coming in similar ways to Germantown and East Nashville.
Gotcha. And what do you do for a living, Hunter?
I'm a health insurance agent. So I am self-employed. I own Hunter.east Insurance. And so I help people with only health insurance. I don't do the car insurance and homeowners and disability and all that stuff. I just do health.
Now, just to be clear, East is your surname or your last name, as you guys say over here, not the area of Nashville that you work. So Hunter East will go west.
I'll go east, south, west, north. I've gone as far up as Clarksville all the way down to Shelbyville and Columbia down south. So, and
I do know where all those places are. So I got that. Okay.
I was about to say, you've been talking to people about Nashville. Surely you know a few of these,
right? Yeah. It's I love the name places like the Gulch. That's a place that I used to read in the Western novels. The guys got shot in the back in the Gulch.
Yeah.
And then
some of those places used to be, not as very trendy and up and coming as they were. They were a little scary.
Yeah. So one of my guests, Terry Lancaster, grew up in East Nashville. Right. He said back when it was a little rough neighborhood.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So now it's upcoming and trendy, and that's where you and I met. Was at Boombar's Pizza there on is it Russell Street, something like that?
I think so. It's off of 10th and I think Russell.
Yeah. So we met there through Connect Nashville networking, which I've had Josh Minton on the show. He was my first episode, but I'm trying to get Josh, Tony Bostic, and Samantha Vanderkamp, the guys that own and run Connect Nashville. I'm trying to get them all on the show at the same time, which will be a fun show. It's just trying to get schedules fixed. So, okay. So Hunter East Insurance. So tell us a little bit about that. What is your target demographic?
My target demographic are going to be age-wise. It's 18 to 65. I don't help anybody with Medicare or above 65. That's a different market. Totally out of school on that one.
Right.
But 18 to 65.
But you probably have a good contact if somebody did reach out to you that you could forward them on to somebody that you trusted and recommended.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Because I get those calls pretty regularly. I got one of those this week.
Right.
I typically help those that are self-employed. I don't do a lot of the big group health insurances, though I can help in those situations if they're under 50 full-time employees. My normal bread and butter are going to be the people that have to pay for their own health insurance. So your families, your individuals, your self-employed business owners. And even, there are people that can compare their work policies and they're not really happy with that, the coverage or the price. And so it's normally just individuals. I don't really do a lot of business to business.
Okay. And how long have you been doing that for?
I've been in insurance total for about 11 years, but I've been doing this 8 years. So it's since about the end of 2013.
Okay, cool. So you've seen a lot of changes over those times.
Oh, yeah. I mean, everything from, obviously the Affordable Care Act, which is a big legislation piece that was done with healthcare, but also, changing deductibles, changing networks, and, tax penalties for things coming and going. It's been a lot of upheaval.
So do you have, just as a glance for anybody watching or listening to this, do you have any, would you have a top 3 tips or a top tip that you'd like to share, or am I putting you on the spot?
No, absolutely. I always try and give those. I mean, half my job I feel like is education. I have to make sure that the people that are talking to me understand what they're looking at, because I've always found that if they understand the policies and the terms and everything, things become much easier. It's just a lot of jargon. So one of the things I would say, number one tip, I get asked all the time, is this covered? And covered means different things to different people. Typically to a customer, that means free. And that's not normally the case. Very rarely is anything free when it comes to, coverages or things like that. Normally covered just means it goes towards whatever deductible you have on your plan. So you need to make sure, even if a doctor or an insurance agent or somebody says, yes, that's covered, don't ever assume that that's free. And the other thing that I'll give you as a tip is when people ask me, once they understand that, then they start asking, is this covered? Is that covered? The 2 questions you always have to ask as a general rule of thumb when it comes to those types of questions is it FDA approved? And is it medically necessary? The insurance companies are not going to recommend you go get an experimental cancer treatment with a product or a prescription that's not FDA approved. Your situation could worsen and they could be held liable. So that, if there's, is it FDA approved? And then is it medically necessary? Your cosmetic surgeries, your weight loss surgeries, your hair implants, those things are not covered because they're voluntary. They're not required to keep you alive or keep you healthy with treatment. So if there's a no to either of those questions, typically it's not covered. So those would be my kind of hot takes and quick tips.
Right. Yeah. And those are good points. So if somebody wanted to reach out to you, maybe they'd been looking for somebody that can help them get through that insurance maze, as it were. What's your best way to contact you? Do you tend to prefer a phone call or an email or?
Absolutely. Phone call, text, or email is the best. I've got my Facebook page. I have a Facebook business page that has reviews and customer testimonials on there. So if people would like to kind of get a little bit of a view of that, as well as some of the other tips that I typically put out there on a regular basis, that's facebook.com/hunter.east insurance. And then you can always call me. Calling or text me is the best way. It's the quickest way. My cell phone is 865-455-0558. That's on my business page as well. And always welcome people. Hey, give me a shout. Just let me know how I can help you out.
Cool. And we'll put that in the show notes as well, folks. So you don't have to worry. You can pull up the show notes on this episode, whether it be on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, or the 100 other places we put it, like Apple Podcasts we're working on right now, Amazon Podcasts, Spotify we're on, Google Podcasts we're on. So you'll be able to find that stuff in the show notes. Or you can always reach out to me at Nashville2.com on anybody you hear about on the show, and we'll put you in touch with them. We'd love to do that. And that's the big key here is we want to tell your story, Hunter. So where you're hanging out right now, is there any hidden gems? You guys have heard me say this before. I bought this stupid camera. It says it's a HD camera. I think it's an ADHD camera because it can't focus. That's my dad joke so far. That's
a good one.
We need a dad joke counter over here somewhere so we can just ding, 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 ding.
It's going to break. You know that.
That's right, it's just going to spin up. So my son, I don't know if you heard this one, but my son bought me a new belt made of watches.
Mm-hmm.
I told him, Brandon, that's a waste of time.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
You'd appreciate that. I got the groan and then I got the laugh.
Always with the groan.
I was at a coffee shop. Where was I? Oh man, I can't think. I'm gonna have to look at my calendar where I was yesterday. It was called Retrograde Cafe.
Yeah, I know where that place is.
1305 Dickerson Pike.
That's a good one.
It was. I've owned coffee shops, right? So we had a coffee trailer and I've owned a coffee shop, and I always like a creamy texture latte. I'm diabetic, so I like sugar-free syrup. They don't have sugar-free syrup. So the guy goes, no, we don't have anything sugar-free, which I had to pick on him because that's not true. He does have sugar-free stuff. He just doesn't think about it. He has Splenda. He has the packets of the sugar-free, the sugar substitute. I said, you don't have Splenda or Stevia or Sweet and Low or Equal? Or he says, oh yeah, we got that. He goes, oh, well, yeah. But anyway, the coffee was excellent. It was really good. Standard price, $5 for a 12-ounce latte or whatever. But I drank it there. Man, the trouble was, it was so good, it was gone like in 5 seconds. I just just downed it. I looked up. I was having a meeting with a guy. I've got to have him on the show. He does home inspections. Nice guy. Met him through a B&I group. Anyway, so Retrograde Coffee. That's my secret spot for today. I'm going to put that in the show notes. I'll make a note of it just so I don't forget.
Yeah, I met a home inspector out there as well.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
The one with the boxing gloves on his truck?
Yeah, knockout, Elliot.
So that's Elliot. There you go. See, who knew? It's a small... See, that's what I love about Nashville. Even though the metro area is like 2 million people, those of us that network and get around, good people tend to gravitate to good people. So, you need to tell Elliot that your experience, I didn't subject you to too many dad jokes. We'll see. We've got a few minutes left. But yeah, I enjoyed meeting with him. He just bought a duplex up in Madison. He was going to go work on that, but we had a meeting. It was so funny because I put him on my calendar, but I forgot to put down who I was meeting, because I was trying to drive, and so my wife was putting it on the calendar for me, and I forgot to give her his name. And so we set it up like a month ago, and so I'm sweating bullets all month because I don't know who I'm actually meeting. And so many of these meetings never happen because things happen and they forget, or they forgot to put it on their calendar, or they don't show up. And I was sweating bullets that he wouldn't show, and I wouldn't know who I was meant to meet. And so when I saw his truck pull up, I'm like, aha! Now I know who I was going to meet. So he's a great guy. He's got
a great story.
Yeah. So guys, if you're anywhere near 1305 Dickerson Pike, there's not a lot of parking there. You got like 4 spots for 15-minute parking, but behind the building, downstairs, it's downstairs, but you park behind the building, and they got good parking there, so you can find a place to park. I was freaking out because I kept going through their parking lot, and there's 3 spots for them and then 30 spots for everybody else.
Yeah.
And so then they said, oh, there's parking in the rear. I'm like, nobody's parking in my rear, but I get the point. So I'm not going to even edit that out. Sorry.
Keep it.
Slipped out. So anyway, so I went and parked in there. But anyway, so it's a great place for a coffee. And he had a muffin, I think. I'm diabetics, trying to stay away from the carbs. But the coffee was good. Okay, so that's my pick, is Retrograde. So do you have any secret gems around your area? Where do you eat? Do you drink? Do you party? Do you go walkabout? What do you do?
I try and do all of the above if I can.
Okay. Not all at the same time, probably.
Of course, not at the same time. Yeah, time and place. I would say I've got a couple of recommendations. In this kind of area of town, I'll give you one for food. I would say Germantown Pub has the best wings in Nashville.
Okay.
If you find better wings than Germantown Pub's Trifecta sauce on their wings,
okay,
I want to know about it, because I haven't found them. They're so good. They're real. They're not real, tiny wings. They're good. They've got a lot of meat on them. And they basically, that Trifecta sauce, they combine 3 of their sauces or whatnot into one, and it's phenomenal. I mean, they're so good. So that's a great spot for food. They have a regular, beer menu and things like that. Really good pub food. They also have a unique thing called a breakfast shot. I don't know if you've ever had this, but it is half a shot of Jameson, half a shot of butterscotch schnapps. Okay. And then you chase that with orange juice and a piece of bacon, and it literally it doesn't taste like alcohol. It tastes like you had breakfast. It tastes like pancake syrup and orange juice and bacon. So that's a good one.
It's funny. I tell people I'm an Aussie that got deported because I don't drink, right? So that doesn't mean that I never drink. I as a 15-year-old, I left school and started my first business, which I'm not going to go into because all these guys have heard that story before. But I didn't have time to get out because I would work from 6 a.m. till midnight, 7 days a week, even Christmas Day. Christmas Day was our best day because we had a video movie rental portion of the shop. I worked it the first year by myself, and then mum and dad came in. They said, "You need help, dude, because you're killing yourself." And so we went 50-50. We tried to go round and round with that because I wanted to keep 60%, but they wouldn't let me. So anyway, at 15, you can't get a driver's license in Australia to like 17 and 9 months back in the day. But I did first year, I think I did 1983, I did $100,000 in revenue, which surprised the heck out of me. I didn't have a clue what I was doing. But anyway, so I never had time to drink, right? I didn't, because I'm working till midnight, and all you can do is if you go out after midnight, you're just going to get into trouble. It's just not worth it as a 15-year-old. You're probably going to do some vandalism or something I just decided to go home, watch a movie, then go to bed. But I'm an old fan. Remember the old internet meme? Have you ever drunk Bailey's from a shoe? Do you remember that? Old Greg?
A little bit. A little.
Old Greg. Have you ever drunk Bailey's?
Old Greg. Yeah.
So I'm dating myself. That was like 96 or something. I'll have to research when that actually was. And I don't know why it caught on. It just did. But I've always been a Bailey's fan. Bailey's milkshakes.
Yeah, those are really good.
So that's kind of my drink of choice. And my dad always joked at me because he wasn't a drinker either. He was a drinker before we were born, but he almost lost the house because of his drinking. So he said that, at 18, he decided he'd been married at 18 and had me within the first year and almost lost the house because of his drinking. And then I never saw him drink. I think I saw him drink 3 beers in the 40 years that he was around after I was born. Or 50 years. And so I never saw him drink. I didn't grow up in that, but Australians, they all drink. I built a cricket field in Kansas and all the Aussies I would invite, all drink tons with the Americans, but it's good to have those drink tips. Now, the thing I've heard is that chicken wings for a while during COVID were scarce, that you couldn't find chicken wings.
Yes, there was a sign that they had up for a little while. I think it's been a minute, but yeah, they had to up their prices a little bit on the chicken wings because they had like a bit of a shortage or they had supply chain issues or whatnot. So yeah, and I don't think it's at that premium anymore. I don't believe, but yeah, still.
You found them good value, and I'm interested to try that Trifecta sauce. Of course, growing up in Australia, we do a lot of horse racing and dog racing, and actually Australians will bet on anything. 2 flies on the wall, we'll bet. We'll bet on just about anything. So I knew what a trifecta was. We have a famous race, like you guys have the Kentucky Derby, right? Is that probably the most famous horse race in America?
I would say so, yeah. Kentucky Derby and then the Preakness and all that stuff, that's going to be the way to go.
Right, so we have the Melbourne Cup. The Melbourne Cup, right, is our famous horse race. We actually had a horse that had like a heart twice the size of a normal heart, and his name was Far Lap, and he won all the races. And then we shipped him over to America to make some money, and some jerk poisoned him. Bloody Americans.
Dang, wow.
I are one. I can't really say that, but the story of Far Lap. You got a dog kicking up a stink back there?
Yeah, she's found a squeaker on her toy. That's okay.
Yeah. My wife found the squeaker on me. I'm so ticklish, and she's not. Like she'll just come and like run her hand over my neck, and I'm like getting the shivers, and she's not ticklish. 31 years we've been married, and I still haven't figured out how to tickle her. She's just like strong-willed. She doesn't fall for it. But okay, so we got Germantown pub. What else you got for us?
I got there's a place that's off of Broadway. It's not on the main drag or anything, and people don't really catch it. It's a really good spot. I like it for a really good cocktail, really good drink. They've got some appetizers, a little bit of food, which isn't bad, but the place is called Black Rabbit.
Okay.
It is on 3rd Avenue and it's north of Broadway, I believe. It is really, really good. They'll have like live music there, and it's they typically have had like Motown and jazz stuff that they've been playing whenever my girlfriend and I have gone there.
Right.
So that's really, really good, and we enjoy that place. The drink there, the Putt-Putt Water, which sounds terrible, it's really, really good. I'm not normally a gin fan, but that's a drink that really has worked and done well. So
Right.
I would suggest that for a drink. And then if you want a dessert spot, because I don't feel like a lot of people would probably bring that up, I'm a big fan, but there's a spot in Midtown that's kind of new called the Baked Bear. I don't know if you've seen this one.
No.
Basically, it is a make your own ice cream sandwich place, and it is dangerous because
Okay. If I just read the name Baked Bear, I think it was one of them new CBD or Tennessee hasn't legalized. Have they legalized marijuana yet?
No, I don't believe so. No, that would be the CBD stuff. No, this is but I mean, if you did partake, I would imagine in some greenery and then go, it's a scary place because it's the Baked Bear is a make your own ice cream sandwich spot. You get to choose the cookies that you want as the sandwich part. You can use them as brownies if you want to. I get a cookie and a brownie sometimes. And then you get to choose the ice cream that you get to roll in. And this isn't your normal chocolate, vanilla, strawberry. These are like, Rocky Road and Moose Tracks and all this stuff. And then they'll actually, once they've put it together, they will roll it in another topping if you want. And it's ridiculous.
I'm in. I've got my insulin pen right here as a diabetic. When are we going?
It's in Midtown near Red Door. And I mean, okay. I'm telling you, it's crazy. I just couldn't believe. My girlfriend told me about the place, and we were in Midtown. We were kind of walking to get to the car. She was like, "We should go to this Baked Bear place." I thought she had made it up. I was like, "I've never heard of this. That can't do that. That can't be legal."
I think have you seen that Liberty Mutual ad where the guy is selling wet bears? Have you?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. I think
that's what instantly kind of a baked bear. You chuck the teddy bear in the oven, you bring him out a baked bear,
Oh yeah. It's basically the legend. I don't know if you've done the legendary milkshake place, but that's like they just take milkshakes and make them monstrosities. This is the same kind of idea, just ice cream sandwiches. And man, it's pretty crazy. It's really good.
I'm probably glad I didn't find it like years ago when I traveled to Nashville, or it didn't exist, because I probably would be in a diabetic coma right now.
Oh yeah. I know I've gained weight since I found
it. Well, I'm looking forward to that. We should do a cash mob for him sometime and just like all lob there and have some dessert. That would be kind of fun. Yeah. Okay, so what else do we need to know about you, Hunter? What are you into when you're not working?
Well, I play a lot of guitar. Big surprise, I know, in Nashville. I always tell the joke that if you throw a guitar out of a window, whoever catches it can probably play it better than you.
Right. Well, but for me, definitely, No, I can't play a guitar. I can carry one, and I got the hat.
Yeah, so. You look the part. You look great. I mean, if you were down on Broadway and had a guitar around you, I'd be like, I bet that guy's really good.
Right.
But yeah, I play guitar. I've played in a few bands. The latest one that I've been playing in is Rosalie and the Warriors. It is a Thin Lizzy tribute band. I wear bell bottoms. I'm the lead guitar player. I do the whole shtick, man. I mean, I'm into it. I have 7 pairs, no less than 7 pairs of bell bottoms. Some are purple.
You're a pretty tall guy. What are you, 6'4", 6'5"?
6'4". Yeah, it wasn't easy. Amazon was my friend. I searched all the hippie shops. I went online to try and find any place that had bell bottoms. They were all ladies fit. Or if I found a vintage shop, the people in the 70s, apparently, if they thought that you needed a 34-inch, length, they thought you were like 48-inch waist, because there were none that would fit me. So I found on Amazon, I found a company that actually was making some, and they made them in my size. I still have to get them just a little tailored, like a little hemmed at the bottom. But oh man, they're great. I have purple, red, gray. Some of them are embroidered. It's great. So I do that.
Does your girlfriend give you a hard time about that, or she likes it?
No, she loves it. She's all about it. Like she did give me a weird look when I first brought it up. I was like, "Oh, I've got some bell bottoms." She was like, "Oh God, what are you wearing?" I was like, "Don't worry. In the female world, they call them flare jeans. It's the same thing." But yeah, I've been been playing guitar ever since I was like 15. Love playing around.
Right.
And she has told me that I rock the bell bottoms, so I really appreciate that.
I'm just doing I'm just doing a search. There used to be a good pun, a corduroy pun. What is the corduroy pun? Something about corduroy pillowcases. Oh yeah, corduroy pillowcases. You ever used a corduroy pillowcase?
Mm-mm.
They're making headlines everywhere.
Oh my God.
I
have 3 corduroy pairs. So
okay, well there you go. See, like, yeah. Okay, so you've got to now. Do you have YouTube videos? You have evidence of you doing?
Yes. Oh, I have so much evidence. There's no denying it.
Okay, so can you put you need to put that in your notes that you send over to me so we can post about. And do you guys play consistent gigs? Are you hireable? How's that work?
Yes, we have played. I mean, the holidays are pretty much about to take over, so we're kind of on hiatus for that. But 2022, we should hopefully have some gigs coming up. But yeah, Rosalie and the Warriors there's a Facebook page on there. I'll send this to you in the chat as well. And it's a good time.
We got a Christmas party coming up from my BNI group on December 1st. What would you cost me?
Oh, I would love to try and do that. I don't know if we'd be playing. I think somebody's out of town. I think our drummer's out of town.
you can't do a solo act. I just want to see
friends and discount, or friends and family discount for sure. Okay. But yeah, I'll see what I can do.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, so definitely put that in your notes. That would be great. Oh, okay. You just sent it over in the chat too. Yeah. Woo, woo. Awesome. Okay, you got a Facebook page. Nice.
Oh yeah, videos, photos. You'll see some outlandish bell bottoms for me on that page. It's
okay. Okay, great. Well, definitely got to check that out. So, folks, check out Hunter if you need some help with health insurance and you're between the ages of 18 and 65. I would give him my seal of approval. That's why I wanted him on the show. I've met with him. My wife has met with Hunter. We've gotten great information. I think, Hunter, don't you find that building relationships, we always get those people that come through networking and it's cards here like this and they're just trying to sell. And that's not something I've ever felt from you. I've always felt that it's relationships first. And if you see a need or a way that you can help, you'll definitely be glad to do that. So, hey, I really appreciate you coming on the show. Any last thoughts or anything you'd like to add?
Man, I really appreciate you having me. I think this is a great idea. I mean, I've always thought that, everybody's kind of got their spots in Nashville. Everybody's got their story in Nashville. There's a lot of transplants, but there's also a few, kind of unicorns that are still here that grew up here. And, right. Man, I love it. I think it's a great idea. I think that anybody that comes to Nashville, you're going to have a great time and you're going to enjoy good food, good drinks, and good entertainment. And thankfully, that's all with good people. So,
right. And that's
I appreciate it.
And really, my plan for Nashville2 was for people that already lived here. But like, if I spent most of my life living in Franklin, Tennessee, I might not know what's going on in Hendersonville or Gallatin or Goodlettsville or I don't know, whatever else is between that and downtown. I might not know what's going on there, So we've looked at Mount Juliet, and I mean, there's bunches of cool places in Mount Juliet. Tony Bradshaw took us out to the Capitol Theater in Lebanon. That place is amazing. Tony, I don't think I've had him as a guest. Oh yeah, I have. I talk to Tony so often, I can't remember if we've ever recorded it, but we did. Episode 4 was with Tony Bradshaw. And so he held his first event out at Capitol Theater. So if anybody's looking for an event space, like you guys could do a concert.
I was about to say, for we would have end of the year kind of big celebrations with some of the agents, and I actually did play a show at the Capitol Theater in Lebanon out there for that that year. I think it was like 2017, 2018.
I love that theater.
Out there. It was gorgeous, man. It was so fun.
Just doing a dad joke night, out there. So there's different places that that you've got 2 million people here. There's 2 million stories to tell. Let's tell those stories. So if you're watching, I'll look up in the camera. If you're watching and you want your story to be told, get on with us. Get on. I don't know why I did that. I mean, email me or look at our Facebook page or do some, or, if you find the phone number, you can call me. I don't mind. But I'd love to tell your story. And Hunter, thanks so much for being on the show. And I'll get this out lickety split. If you could shoot over that email with your contact details and your band stuff and then the Germantown pub, the Black Rabbit and the Baked Bear, which I'm interested in the wings and I'm interested in the ice cream sandwiches. Now, whether I can talk my wife into letting me go for ice cream sandwiches, because I scare her every time my blood sugars go up, but like,
it's not going to go down. I can tell you that.
Going to no, maybe they've got a sugar-free ice cream. Who knows?
Yeah, but those, I would be surprised, but it's awesome.
Yeah, you never know. I mean, maybe I can, if I buy ice cream from them, maybe I can, no, I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with that. I was just going to say, maybe there's no calories if I come from out of town. I don't know. Hey, great having you on the show. And I look forward to catching up with you soon. And if you got any friends that you want to have on the show, just have them reach out.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Man. Great.